Right. The president is going to be addressing the Senate GOP on this whole agenda next Tuesday to USA Today congressional reporter Eliza Collins, RealClearPolitics associate editor A.B. Stoddard. A.B., I want to advance with you as we look at this market well into record territory yet again. Some are calling this a melt up, which is jargon for stocks moving up with abandon here, and sometimes built on a premise that might be shaky. In this case, that tax cuts not only come through, but they benefit everybody. But the flip side of that argument is a warning we got from the Treasury Secretary a couple of days ago that if the cuts don't come through, the market could fall. Now, if that were to happen, that would be sort of double jeopardy for Republicans, right? They fail at something they need to win at, and then the market starts reversing. What do you think?
I do think that, though that sounds like a dramatic prediction from the Treasury Secretary, it is one of the worries of congressional Republicans who know this is their last-ditch effort at a big accomplishment that can be felt before the midterm elections. They want to get this passed early enough into the winter that by the spring and summer the economy feels a bit of a palpable jolt that voters will be able to integrate by November of 2018. I do think they can come up with something, Neil, but as you know, they're very divided. I just think the deadline they've put on themselves for the end of this year, when there are fewer than 30 legislative days left, seems still unrealistic to me.
Really? Eliza, let's talk about that deadline. How likely is it?
Well, publicly, they say it's very likely. Privately, they're definitely showing some more concern. And I've talked to some aides recently who say that they're not sure that, they think it might have to go into the early few months of 2018, but there is real concern, as A.B. said, about an election year. I talked to Senator Mike Lee yesterday, and he said things tend to do better in non-election years, in those odd years where people are more willing to take that vote that they might not take if they're up for re-election, kind of compromise on some things that are uncomfortable. And going into an election year, it's harder.
But it has happened. We saw tax cuts in '82. We saw tax cuts in '86. Those were off election years. So I guess hope springs eternal. But, A.B., I definitely see Eliza's point here. The other issue is with this back and forth on an additional rate for the well-to-do. Obviously, Republicans are getting anxious that this not be portrayed as a benefit to the rich. There are people who will argue back and forth, well, the rich pay most of the taxes, yada, yada. There's great truth in that. But I don't know if it's going to win any Democratic votes in doing that. Is it they're going after moderate Republican votes? Or what's this all about?
Oh yeah. I don't think I don't think they would make any of those moves with the intention of it being a target for Democratic votes. They are concerned about the Trump voter. They're concerned about the Trump message. He said this is going to be a middle-class miracle, and I think that they know that they just don't want to be hammered for this, not boosting the middle class enough and being tilted towards top earners, and that's really a struggle. By definition, a tax cut across the board would benefit top earners because they pay most of the taxes. Are they that gun shy of that reality? No matter what they offer the middle class, by comparison, it wouldn't be aggregate-wise what it would be for the upper class, and they don't want anything to do with it? Neil, gun-shy changes as you get closer to a final vote, or as we were just saying, whether this spills into February of 2018. And so there is this urgency. There's not so much unity, but the unity is around sort of the panic over getting something done. It's the deficit question, and it's the top earner versus the middle class question that will continue to sort of bedevil the congressional Republicans. They would like to pick up some Democrats, but I think this is a problem within the party with what Trump continues to promise the middle class.
Yeah, I think you might be right. So you should run the other way, A.B., because I agree with you. But, Eliza, finally to you and your thought about how this will factor out next November. The betting seems to be get a tax cut, Republicans hang on to their control of the House and Senate. They don't. Is it that black and white?
Well, the Senate, they should be able to hang on to. It's a really good map for them. They don't have very many people up for re-election. Only two, Senator Jeff Flake and Senator Dean Heller, are even in vulnerable seats. And there are 25 Democrats up for re-election, 10 of them in states that Trump won. So in theory, they should be able to hold on to it just fine. We are seeing Steve Bannon and sort of the anti-establishment part of the Republican Party now saying they're going to go after every Republican who doesn't oppose Mitch McConnell, which of course is most of the Republican senators.
Exactly. Right,
so it's going to make things tough. They probably will be able to hold hold on, but it shouldn't even really be a question. The House, there is real concern that it could flip, especially if they can't pull off tax reform. And I've had Republican House members say, you know, if we can't pull off tax reform, we deserve this. We deserve to all get kicked out of office. And that's a common theme, especially from like the conservative Freedom Caucus wing. They say it's, you know, it's a real possibility, and not only a real possibility, but deserved if we can't do this.
Well, those guys are bulletproof, though. They're virtually unstoppable in their own districts.
Yeah, they win by like 30 points.
Eliza, thank you. A.B. Stoddard, thank you very, very much.